Yo, what is up, YouTube? It's your boy Legend, and I am back with another video. You already know what this is just by looking at the thumbnail. What if Naruto was born early and fell in love with Kushina and Mikoto? Now, I know you guys was figuring that I was going to go back to being inconsistent, but nah. We like consistency over here. But you already know the light goal. Light goal is going to be 6 likes as usual. If we can get 10, that'll be great. You already know my subscribe goal, so let's see if we can hit that. But without further ado, let's just get into this intro so we can start this what if. The storm was still alive. Rain pelted the earth in slanted sheets, carving rivers into the mud as it poured from the sky as dark as ink. Lightning cracked overhead, white and jagged, illuminating the cliffs in flashes that lasted barely a heartbeat. Thunder rolled close behind, shaking the stone beneath their feet as if the world itself resented their escape. Naruto emerged first from the sewer, his sandals splashing into a puddle just beyond the grate. His breath steamed in the air, and his cloak clung to him like a second skin, soaked through with rain and grime, but his arms held steady. In them, Mikoto lay silent. Her long legs dangled slightly, her body limp but warm. Her head rested just below his collarbone, and dark hair slicked against his chest. She stirred slightly, murmuring something but didn't wake. Kushina followed next, stepping from the shadows of the sewer tunnel and pulling her hood tighter. The black dye in her hair had started to wash away completely, and the red strands were already re-emerging like blood through fabric. Naruto stopped at the edge of the cliffside clearing just before the brush turned into open terrain. Behind him, the glow of Kumo's lights flickered faintly through the downpour, like distant embers behind a shroud. He stared in that direction for a moment, eyes sharp despite the fatigue on his face. His body was exhausted. He hadn't slept in over a few hours, but his instincts were burning. Every ounce of him screamed that they weren't safe yet. "We still have space to put between us and the village of Kumo," he said without looking back. Kushina nodded, and without another word, Naruto shifted Mikoto slightly in his arms and took off running. Mud splashed beneath him with every step, his sandals kicking up dirty water. The rain lashed across his face, and the wind clawed at his cloak. But he didn't slow down. Kushina was right beside him, her pace effortless despite her own fatigue. Neither of them wanted to be caught on Kumo's soil a moment longer than necessary. Behind Naruto's neck, a small coiled figure trembled. A Raken, his pointed-nosed viper was curled tightly around the base of his neck and shoulders, tucked under the collar of his shirt. The snake's body shifted every now and then, clearly disturbed by the wet and cold. A Raken hated this weather. Naruto could feel the little serpent's discomfort through the subtle flexings of its muscles and the faint pressure of its coils. "Hang in there, Raken," Naruto muttered. The visibility was miserable. They couldn't see more than 15 feet ahead. Trees became looming ghosts. Rocks emerged from the dark like monsters from the void. The storm wrapped around them like a living force, hostile and relentless. But still, they ran. 12 hours later, the rain hadn't stopped, but the hotel was warm. It was a cheap inn on the edge of the border town, hidden deep in a gorge between lightning country and one of the neutral buffer zones. No guards, no chakra sensors, just 3 rooms, a sleeping clerk, and a soft hum of oil lanterns flickering behind thin walls. Inside the room, it was quiet. Naruto lay flat on a pull-out couch, his chest rising and falling slowly. His hair was damp but no longer dripping, and his eyes were fixed on the ceiling. He was dressed only in a pair of tight spandex shorts, his arms resting behind his head. The dim orange light of the lantern cast long shadows across the room, dancing slightly with every flicker of the flame. In the far corner, a pile of clean towels had been set aside. A raccoon lay curled atop of them, her scales glistening faintly in the light. The little viper was still damp and clearly irritable, but he didn't move as much. Warm, folded cotton was the best he could hope for until the storm had passed. The bed in the center of the room was large enough for two. Mikoto was sound asleep on her side, one arm tucked underneath the pillow. She wore only a t-shirt and a pair of plain panties, long legs stretched out beneath the blanket. Her hair fanned out across the mattress, still slightly damp. Her breathing was slow and even. Kushina sat on the bed, knees pulled up to her chest. She wore a shirt and underwear. Nothing too fancy, just what she'd dried off in after the shower. Her crimson hair, now mostly dry, framed her tired face. She had bags under her eyes, but didn't look ready to sleep. Her gaze drifted to Naruto. He hadn't moved in minutes. His eyes were open but distant, clearly exhausted but unable to rest. After a pause, she pushed the blanket aside and climbed down from the bed. Naruto stirred when the couch creaked beside him. Kushina sat down beside him, tucking her legs between her. Her expression was unreadable. "You look like shit," she said flatly. Naruto gave a small huff of laughter, turning his head lazily towards her. "Don't we all, after what we just went through?" Kushina looked back at Mikoto sleeping form, her voice softer. "Yeah, I guess you're right." Naruto tilted his head, still half lying on the couch. "Kushina, is something wrong?" She didn't respond immediately. Her eyes stayed fixed on Mikoto, who shifted slightly in her sleep, her shirt riding up just a little over her hips. Finally, Kushina sighed. "Naruto, can we just finish that talk we never finished?" Naruto blinked once. He sat up slowly, rubbing one eye. "What talk?" Her voice dipped, but her words came out clearly. "Who do you like more, me or Mikoto?" Naruto blinked again. That question cut through his haze like cold water. He looked down, then up. I like you both. It's impossible for me to pick just one of you." Kushina bit the inside of her cheek. It wasn't the answer she wanted to hear, but she tried not to let it show. "Then, who do you think is prettier?" That made Naruto freeze. His one open eye dilated slightly, and before he could stop himself, flashes of both Kushina and Mikoto appeared in his mind. Both of them laughing, training, sleeping in his arms, bending over in short yukata robes, and finally the both of them laying on his bed, dressed in nothing, showing off their assets to him as they spread their legs, offering themselves to him. His body reacted before his brain could catch up. He shifted slightly and quickly pulled a pillow into his lap. Kushina glanced down and smirked. "Really? That easy to fluster, huh?" Naruto groaned quietly and turned his head away. "You asked something unfair, but you have an answer, don't you?" she said with a teasing edge. He nodded slowly and then spoke. "On most days, you. It's your hair, your eyes, skin tone, and the way your figure works with everything else. You're not even done growing and you already... you're beautiful, Kushina, and Mikoto." He swallowed. "Mikoto's gorgeous too. Her voice, her face, her hips and thighs. When she activates her Sharingan, it's like looking at a goddess. There's just something about it that's He gripped the pillow harder. Kushina let out a soft giggle. She was flustered too, heat blooming in her cheeks, but she couldn't help but be amused at Naruto's state. The fact that just thinking about them got him this flustered made something warm spark in her chest. Naruto shifted again. I didn't mean to. It's just. He blinked, and that's when she saw it. His Sharingan was active. 3 tomo spinning gently in each eye. Not from battle, not from pain, but from sheer emotional overload. Kushina looked at him, her heart pounding a little harder now. Okay, she whispered, still halfway laughing. You need to go shower and calm down. Naruto gave her a slow nod and stood, hunching over awkwardly with the pillow still pressed to his waist. He made his way to the bathroom like a ninja ashamed of being caught stealing food, half glancing back, half hoping Mikoto didn't wake up. Kushina watched him go, then lay back down on the couch. She wasn't sure what the hell they were doing, but she was sure of one thing. This wasn't over. Not by a long shot. 2 days had passed since the mission. Naruto, Kushina, and Mikoto stood before the Hokage in his office. The old man sat behind his desk, with his fingers steepled beneath his chin, his eyes heavy with both disappointment and reluctant approval. Mikoto stood with her arms crossed, a tight white bandage wrapped around her upper left thigh. She leaned slightly on one leg, her pride refusing to show how much pain she was in. Kushina stood tall, red hair now fully returned, framing her determined expression. Naruto, though exhausted, stood straight. His eyes remained calm but sharp, and his hands were tucked behind his back like a shinobi reporting to command. Hiruzen sighed as he picked up one of the weapons they had recovered, a polished, obsidian black blade forged from chakra reactive metals. Illegal materials, superior craftsmanship. If Cloud had finished mass producing these. He poured a modest stream of chakra into the hilt. Instantly, the blade ignited with roaring flame, glowing a brilliant orange with a white-hot core. The fire hissed with energy, and even Kushina took a step back from the heat. Hiruzen exhaled as he extinguished the weapon and placed it back down gently. You may not have destroyed the facility, but you severely diminished their supply. These weapons, they will be studied. Your mission wasn't a success, but neither was it a failure. You will receive 3/4 pay. Dismissed. All 3 bowed. Yes, Okage-sama. As they left, Hiruzen turned his gaze toward the west, thinking of the other pieces moving across the board. Minato, Sakamo, and Fugaku were currently embedded deep within grass country, tasked with dismantling Stone's forward outpost. 3 elite shinobi. The Stone would never see them coming, and Hiruzen's other students, Jiraiya, Tsunade, and Orochimaru, were due to return any day now, after leading a liberation offensive against the Sand. The war was far from over. Outside the Hokage Tower, the trio descended the steps in silence, their sandals tapping lightly against the stone. Naruto was quiet, too quiet. Kushina threw a glance toward him, a smirk twitching at the corner of her lips. She knew exactly what had him so flustered. Mikoto, however, was oblivious to the silent exchange and narrowed her eyes in curiosity. What's with you two? Kushina only giggled. Naruto's cheeks turned pink, and he kept his eyes forward. Before long, they reached a fork in the road, and Kushina stopped walking. Guess I'll head home, she said, though her voice lingered with something more. Before either could respond, she stepped forward and pulled Naruto into a sudden hug, her arms wrapped tightly around his back. Her chest pressed softly against his, and her cheek brushed against his own. Naruto froze. Mikoto blinked in confusion, then narrowed her eyes at Kushina's boldness. You know you can hug me back, right? Kushina whispered. Naruto stuttered, his arms hovering awkwardly before gently patting her back, unsure of what to do. The contact sent another surge of flustered energy through him, and Kushina giggled again, kissing his cheek before stepping back. Her eyes were locked with Mikoto's for just a moment, a flash of challenge and triumph glinting behind them. Then she was gone. Mikoto scoffed under her breath and grabbed Naruto's hand without a word, intertwining her fingers with his. Naruto blinked, but didn't resist. His hand felt small in hers, despite how much strength she knew it held. 5 minutes later, they arrived at the partially completed Uzumaki compound. Wooden beams framed unfinished hallways, and paper lanterns illuminated the path to Naruto's room. He unlocked the door and ushered Mikoto inside before heading straight to the corner tank where Araken would go back into. The small viper slithered excitedly as Naruto dropped a fresh rat into the tank. "There you go, girl," he said softly. Then came the blur of black fur and the familiar low growl. "Sheva." Naruto smiled as the large black wolf padded toward him and licked his wrist. He knelt and scratched behind her ears. "Still remember me, huh?" Sheva leaped into his touch with a low whine of approval. Mikoto, meanwhile, had seated herself on his bed, legs tucked beneath her as she eyed the massive wolf warily. Sheva kept glancing her way, eyes locked, predatory and protective. Mikoto stiffened. Naruto, can you please do something about her? She's really starting to scare me." Naruto gave an amused sigh and patted Sheva one last time. "Sheva, come here." The wolf obediently trotted over. Naruto motioned for Mikoto to scoot forward. "Give her your hand. Let her smell you." Mikoto hesitated. "I really don't want to lose a finger." "She won't bite," Naruto assured her. Mikoto cautiously extended her hand. Sheva sniffed once, twice, and then lost interest and turned away. Naruto snapped his fingers and pointed toward the door. "Out." Sheva patted away without complaint. Mikoto exhaled hard. "Your life is insane," she muttered. Naruto just grinned. "You're probably the bravest and strongest man I've ever met," she said suddenly. Naruto blinked. "What makes you say that?" "I'm still learning. I'm not even a jonin yet." Mikoto shifted closer until their thighs touched. Her body was warm against his, and her voice was lower now. "Yeah, but that doesn't mean you're not strong now. You carried me for 12 hours without rest. Me, a 5'4", 110-pound woman. You also gave orders to Kushina while carrying me for the entirety of those 12 hours. That takes strength, muscular endurance, and bravery if you ask me." Naruto rubbed the back of his head nervously. "I just didn't want either of you to get hurt. Especially you, since you couldn't really walk." Mikoto stared at him for a moment, her dark eyes unreadable. Then she smiled. "You really know how to make a girl feel loved and wanted without trying." Naruto blushed deep red. He wasn't sure what to say, but deep down, he realized something was shifting. Between the mission, the war, and the confusing web of feelings forming between him, Kushina, and Mikoto, things were changing, and they wouldn't be the same again. Mikoto then grabbed Naruto's hand, interlacing their fingers with his. "You know, when I saw how vicious you were willing to get, just so you could protect me and Kushina, I thought it was kind of hot." Naruto blinked. "What? I'm lost right now." Mikoto looked down as she spoke. You know when that Kumo shinobi nearly caught us and you put him under a genjutsu? I was able to feel the chakra you were using, and I felt the raw fury you held for the man when he told you to put me down. I was almost able to imagine the genjutsu he was in before Kushina killed him. Mikoto then stood, causing Naruto to stand with her. He didn't know what she was saying or where she was going with this. Mikoto then turned and pushed Naruto back onto the bed. She then straddled him and put her hands around his neck. I don't care if you're not good with women or don't have any real experience with women. I meant what I said, and I wasn't playing. You do so much. You're so nice. Too nice. The only time you show your anger is when Kushina and I are in danger. Naruto, however, didn't know what to do. He wasn't even looking at Mikoto. He was looking down. He was looking at her thighs that were on either side of him. Mikoto noticed that Naruto was balling his hands into the sheets and laughed to herself. She then grabbed both of his hands and placed them on her thighs near her ass. These go here, Naruto. Naruto's eyes widened. This is the first time he's touched a woman this way. Mikoto, I don't think we should be doing something as intimate as what we're doing now. I mean, you're engaged and Naruto was cut off as Mikoto pressed her lips to Naruto's. And because Naruto was mid-sentence when Mikoto kissed him, his eyes were the size of dinner plates, and Mikoto's tongue was exploring every inch of his mouth. And to him, having her tongue pressing against his felt weird, but it was also arousing. When Mikoto finally pulled away, she and Naruto had to catch their breath. She then laughed. Naruto-kun, if a woman kisses you, you have every right to kiss her back. Naruto wasn't even sure what to say, and he ended up stuttering. That was my first kiss. Mikoto leaned her forehead against his and laughed. That was mine too. And you could possibly be more than just my first kiss. Mikoto then kissed Naruto again, but this time Naruto slowly started to kiss her back. But Mikoto could tell that Naruto was both nervous and didn't know what he was doing. As the two of them awkwardly kissed, Mikoto removed her shirt that bore the Uchiha crest on the back. Now she was only dressed in her ambu pants and a black bra that was concealing her still growing C-cup bosom. Naruto, however, was slowly gaining more confidence, and more accurately, he was getting more aroused. He's been bricked up since he kissed her the first time, and now, as he kissed her again, she was grinding herself against his groin. And even though it felt like torture because it was through multiple layers of clothing, Naruto still trailed his hands up and down Mikoto's back. After a few more seconds of this, Mikoto finally got off of Naruto's lap. Naruto thought the moment was over and was a bit disappointed. However, that was until Mikoto slowly dropped to her knees in between his legs. Mikoto then reached for the buttons on Naruto's pants, but out of shock and instinct, Naruto grabbed her by the wrist, stopping her. Well, what are you doing? Mikoto blushed as she tried to think of a decent way to answer the question. The only thing she could think to say was, "Trust me, relax." Mikoto moved Naruto's hands away and continued to unbutton and roll his pants down a bit along with his boxers. Mikoto nervously grabbed the Okay. We all know what's about to happen. We all know with my writing style, they not about to just stop right here. So do I really have to read all of this on my YouTube channel? Or do I just upload this on my Patreon in full? Oh yeah, I was supposed to put that on the community tab. Yeah, guys, I got a Patreon. I'll put the entire thing on there. But you already know this is gonna be the end of the video. But without further ado, I'm out, and I will see you guys in the next video. Stay blessed, y'all.